In the last video, I talked briefly about the style of the set and how much I adore it. Starting this video off, I'll dive deeper into the theming, as I believe it's one of the most important parts of Unfinity. It has its own theme throughout the entire set, like a traditional Magic set. This, as well as it being primarily legal, is completely unheard of in joke set history. To start off this discussion of the theming, let's start with the lands. This set is completely themed entirely off of strange sci-fi fantasy space, and even in the set's lands, which, instead of being the usual basic lands, were renamed in the set to be Spacic lands, which have two variants for each color, the on-planet lands, as well as the off-planet lands. These are absolutely stunning pieces of art by Adam Paquette, especially when you consider the galaxy foil treatment that was exclusive to this set. This foil technique litters the cards with a beautiful series of stars and orbs to just give off the look of space. This set also features reprints of what were known as shock lands. Shock lands are lands that allow you to tap for either color on the card, but what makes them special, other than the gorgeous art that comes with them, is that they can enter the battlefield untapped if you pay 2 life. And in game modes like Commander, where you start off with 40 life, this is a great way to have an advantage on the game in a deck with multiple colors in it. But this makes them very, let's just say they're pricey. Unfinity, as well as all the other unsets, take place in the Un-iverse. This is its own separate multiverse that exists parallel to the main multiverse in which the Magic takes place. The Un-iverse still has all the famous characters from the original Magic storyline, such as Jace Beleren, who is featured in Unfinity as Space Beleren. This allows them to get as silly as they want with as many characters as they want, while still having an entire multiverse to mess around with, and mess around they sure did. With Unfinity, we learn of all sorts of planes and worlds that this Un-iverse has, such as Planet Glurg, Quathuluvia, and Blorb 12. These goofy-sounding sci-fi planets are home to many different silly alien species, such as it came from Planet Glurg. He's an alien ooze who came from Planet Glurg, and now resides at the Astrotorium. Here's it came from Planet Glurg, also known as Stefan, due to his Glurganese name being 3,000 characters and near impossible to pronounce. Isn't he such a cutie? People of the Astrotorium only view him as an alien who wants to destroy things, but deep down he's just an ooze who didn't get enough love as a child and has self-esteem issues. He steals identities in hopes of one day being accepted by people, and his only goal is to be loved. Unfortunately though, Stefan has a tragic backstory. Confirmed in a podcast that was run by Mark Rosewater, head designer of Magic. I'll let Mark and his guest Ari Zerulnik explain.
Yeah, I mean, when he was young, he fell down a well, and it took them 18 months to be able to get to him, because it took that long to say his name. So.
Was it like Stefan? And
yeah. Stefan is the English version of it. It's very, very long.
Now, I have to fulfill my promise from the last video and get into the former residence of the beautiful Blorb 12, the Blorbians. These funny little dudes are weird green aliens that always seem to be filled with joy. They don't use human gender, and other than that, we don't know too much about the Blorbians. Anyways, let's talk about Captain Rex Nebula, the self-proclaimed greatest captain in the universe. He pilots the Astrotorium and is a massive narcissist. He's absolutely obsessed with the idea of being a pilot and is so bad at it that he constantly crashes and destroys things. One notable incident is, let me just grab my file. He crashed into Blorb 12? Oh god! Ever since Rex Nebula obliterated the Blorbians' home planet, Myra invited all the Blorbians to reside at the Astrotorium and give them all lifetime passes to not only the park, but also its rides and games. This allowed them to practice on the game so much that they are completely undefeated in any of the park arcades as well as the park's games. Funnily enough though, due to the nature of the Blorbians and their can-do attitude and how kind they are, Ambassador Blorpity Blorpboop is only a friendly rival with Rex, despite him being the sole reason their planet was demolished. The Ambassador frequently invites Rex to dinner, and this was also confirmed in the same podcast that we learned about Stefan's backstory. Now then, let's get into some of Unfinity's most interesting mechanics. Attractions and stickers are the main mechanics of Unfinity. Attractions make up a completely separate deck that sits beside you in play. The attractions deck and the scrapyard are two separate piles that exist when you play a deck that utilizes attractions. The deck is first shuffled by another player, then you can bring attractions onto the field through various other cards in the set that allow you to open an attraction. Attractions are a really odd mechanic that make you roll a 6-sided die on the beginning of your upkeep on your turn. Then you take the result of that roll and look at your attractions. If your roll is lit up on the attraction card, then you visit it. If you roll a 6 though, you visit all of them. Using Pick-a-Beeble as an example, since we rolled a 4, I get to visit the attraction. When you visit Pick-a-Beeble, you roll another 6-sided die, then put a number of luck counters on Pick-a-Beeble equal to the result and create a treasure token. Then, if there are 6 or more luck counters on Pick-a-Beeble, claim the prize. The prize being, create 2 treasure tokens and sacrifice Pick-a-Beebles, then open an attraction. I chose this card as an example because it not only shows how silly attractions can get with their rules, prizes, and visiting, but it also shows off opening an attraction as well as sacrificing an attraction to put it into the graveyard, also known as the scrapyard. This is just one of the 21 legal attraction cards that you can use in an attraction deck. Personally, I find the attraction mechanic great. It makes for a really interesting playstyle that can make your deck really try and embrace dice rolling and luck as a mechanic, which I find really neat. Stickers, on the other hand, are a whole different ballpark. Sticker cards are cards you can pull from Unfinity packs that feature stats, card text, and names. There's also decoration stickers, but those are primarily mentioned on non-legal cards, so we're not going to explain them as much. Stickers can be put onto cards that you control that are in play as long as you've gathered enough tickets that you can spend on the cards, as well as any other card that allows you to put a sticker on something you control. Sticker decks can be completely unpredictable and make even the most simple of cards scary. With just using a couple stickers, you can turn this sweet, precious Blorbian buddy into a terrifying 10/10 with the ability to deal damage twice each combat and not tap when it attacks. These mechanics make for a really silly game that can go in any direction, anytime, depending on how lucky you get, not only with card draw, but also rolling the dice, as well as collecting enough tickets to put stickers on things. I find all these mechanics just so interesting. They're not usually the most powerful thing, but they're fun, and that's really all that matters without a joke set. Thanks for joining me on this adventure through the Un-iverse. I hope you enjoyed the videos. Until next time.